Oh, hi everyone. I think I'm live. Jumped on a little bit early. Hey, Brooke, how's it going? Thank you for your technical support earlier today. Hey, Lynn. So we'll start in about a minute. We'll give people some time to get here. So I am on retreat in Costa Rica right now, and I've had just technical difficulties all day. But can you all hear me okay? Not only am I in another country, but I'm prone to technical difficulties. So, all right. Thank you, Bill. Awesome. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm obviously not Brooke or Andrew. My name is Ralph Andradez. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm on retreat in Costa Rica. So yeah, really happy to be here. I was so psyched when Andrew asked me to help him out with this. So yeah, really nice to, I thought for some reason I'd be able to see all your faces, but I can't. So maybe next time. This is my first YouTube live stream. Applied mindfulness teacher, trainer. Shinzen Young is my main teacher. Andrew and I have done a lot of the same trainings together. Done some other training. I think my favorite credential is a friend of Andrew, because that guy is awesome. So today, when I think Andrew Leonard's, I think do nothing. We have a similar kind of appreciation for that technique. So yeah, I thought we would do some do nothing together. Do some do nothing. Is there anyone that's not familiar with that technique? And don't be afraid to speak up if you're not. Yay for Friends of Andrew. I agree. I'll do a little bit of talking up front, but this technique is very kind of non-conceptual, so I don't want to load it up with too many concepts before we jump in, but just to give you, you've done it before. I figured if, Andrew's usually here, you must have done it at some point. Um, so I want to start by saying, do nothing. It's befuddling. I'm going to try to unbefuddle it. That's my reason for being here today. So I'll do my best. And yeah, do nothing can sound like very extreme. People can get very in their heads about like, am I doing a little something? What am I doing? It can just just be a little extreme. So I like to wade into this technique by doing as little as possible. So we're going to do a little reframe here. So it's okay if a little bit of intention comes up, if you catch yourself doing something, having an intention, let it go, drop the ball, as Michael Taft says. Don't put so much pressure on yourselves to be so 100% nothing. I find that, this technique can be a gradual, we can get glimpses of the benefits, of the insights all the time throughout the technique. But over time, there can be a very gradual letting go and let go more and more. You become more comfortable. I like to think of it as a kind of like a trust fall into awareness, a trust fall into being. The more you do it, the more you trust it, and the more you can just relax into being. And awareness being, it has no destination, it has no agenda. And when we can get there, we can really rest as that. We get a really nice rest from the doing self, the doing self that's always plotting next course, trying to fix something, tinkering with our experience. And when we can really do this technique, that doing self may actually still arise, but we try to stay absolutely uninvolved with it. That's kind of the name of the game. So it's okay if thoughts arise. It's okay if intentions arise. All of that's fine. Get sleepy, all of that stuff. But the trick here is to just let it happen and not tinker with it. And that's what gives us the insight that, things kind of come on their own. They stay for as long as they stay, and then they fade away. And that all happens without our help. So pleasant things may arise, stick around, exit without our help, so we don't have to grasp at them. Unpleasant things arise, they disappear on their own. We don't have to push them away. So it's a kind of taking the stance of radical equanimity with everything. So I like the Dzogchen example of thoughts becoming like writing on water. Like as soon as the thoughts arise, if we don't do anything to them, they just disappear, and it can be a very liberating place to be. So we also call this autofocus. So we're kind of stepping out of the way of, stepping out of the pilot seat basically, and we're seeing what happens when nature comes and spontaneously focuses our attention. And so another insight that can come, we just notice everything kind of spontaneously coming into and out of experience. One of the things that does that is that sense of self, sense of doing. And that arises spontaneously, just like everything else. And we can start to really get a feel for that. Realize that, wow, even the self is part of this spontaneous unfolding. It's not this separate thing over here looking at a world over there. So yeah, the main instruction for this technique from Shinzen is if you notice an intention to control your attention, you drop that intention. So notice that you're trying to control things, you just step back. Another way to kind of frame that is staying uninvolved. So even if that intention comes up and you notice it and you try to voluntarily drop it and it doesn't drop, it's technically not a voluntary intention anymore. So that's not you. You're not doing anything. So you just continually kind of step back, fall back into a kind of open awareness. So what I'm going to do is kind of gradually guide us into this technique, and then I'm going to offer the 6 points of Talopa. Talopa was this Indian Mahasiddha, founder of the Kagyu lineage, Mahamudra master, and he has these 6 points that speak so well to the do nothing technique that I find while you're doing nothing, if some of these insights kind of land on you, it can be very helpful to, just bring this technique along. So that's going to be that. Does anyone have any questions jumping in? I'm so not used to reading comments. I'm used to like hands going up, so forgive me. Okay, so let's jump right in. So everyone find your comfortable, oh, thank you. Find your comfortable meditation posture. Lengthening through the crown of the head, straightening the spine. And relaxing the jaw, relaxing the shoulders. Just go ahead and relax everything that will agree to relax. And anything that won't, you just let it relax in its own time. One of the 2 images I'm going to give to you today, you can imagine a glass of water kind of full of sand and soot, and you want all of that to just drop down to the bottom. And the way we do that is by not stirring the glass. So for the rest of this practice, we're just not stirring the glass. Just letting everything kind of fall into its own place. We're going to begin with a little shine with an object. So that doing self, your sense of attention, we're going to place that right on the breath. So either at the nose, chest, the abdomen, wherever the breath is kind of easy for you to connect with. I'm going to put just about 20% of your attention on that, just kind of holding your hand over a railing, just. And you're going to let everything else just arise and pass in the background. Resting a little bit of our attention there, that part of yourself that kind of needs to do something. You're going to focus that on the breath. Everything else is just going to come and go in the background. And really kind of invite this sense of openness. can be a big jump from kind of living our lives, going throughout our day. To go from that to doing nothing can be kind of jarring. So we're just going to kind of ease ourselves into it. Just give that part of yourself that wants to do something, a little something to focus on. However, the breath is showing up for you today, perhaps it's pleasant, maybe it's a little tough to hold your attention there, whatever it is, whatever judgments you have about the practice, whatever emotions may be coming up, whatever thoughts are coming up, those are absolutely okay to be there. So we're going to start stepping out of the way. We're going to be uninvolved with whatever judgments, whatever emotions, whatever thoughts, whatever sensations are coming up. Just don't do anything about them. So as you're having some attention on the breath, we're going to have a little background equanimity to everything else. Just for another minute or two. Really start feeling into what it's like to not tamper with anything outside the breath, to just let it be there. You may feel caught by judgments, caught by thoughts, whatever they might be, you just let go, let be. Now for 3 out breaths, just really feel yourself letting go. Letting go of control, letting go of concern for any particular outcome for the practice, even letting go of any sense of past and future, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Let go of any confusion. And now we're going to let go of the breath. Again, we're going to become radically uninvolved with all experience. And I'm going to start us off with 2 little pointers. First is borrowed from Dzogchen through La Kelly. Simply ask yourself on each out breath, what would this be, this moment be, if there were no problem to solve? On the in-breath, really feel into what that answer could be. Don't make it a conceptual one. Just how would you hold the body? How would you hold the mind if there were no problem to solve? So again, on the out-breath, asking the question. On the in-breath, really trying to hold yourself as the answer to the question. In a sense, making your own being the answer to that question. And for the next little while, there is no problem to solve. Committed yourself to this practice, so make this a container in which you don't have to do anything. It's a very rare opportunity. Just a couple more out breaths. What would this moment be if there were no problem to solve? Okay, now our final pointer before going into the practice. If you've ever walked into a dark room from a brightly lit hallway, it takes a little while for your eyes to adjust, to make out the furniture in the room. The only thing you can do to make that happen is just settle, just wait. Wait for your eyes to adjust. So try sitting in this way. Try sitting in a way that you're trying to let your mind, your body adjust to this brightly lit room. So you're not really doing anything. You're just kind of waiting. Any resistance that's coming up to the practice, get any judgments, whatever happens to be coming up, don't do anything about it. Just let yourself adjust. Treat any thoughts, any sensations like they're none of your business. It's not you. Just let them float by. Now, let go of any sense that there's a room that your eyes have to adjust to. Just sit in this way. Not waiting for anything. Not dependent upon the next moment to happen. Just this. And we don't have to do anything about it. Again, the real technique here is if we notice an intention to control our attention, we drop the intention. So we're not scanning for intentions, just if we happen to notice one, we let it go. Staying uninvolved. And don't have to make any special effort to hear the rest of the guidance. Just sit, rest in the way that you're resting. I'm just going to be offering the 6 nails, and if something lands for you, if something helps you let go a little bit more, great. And if not, that's also great. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to understand anything. So the 6 nails or the 6 words of advice are: don't recall, don't imagine, don't think, don't examine, don't control. The final one is rest. Really relax. I'm going to take you through each one individually. So try and let go of any anticipation that might be coming up. Of course, it's okay if it's there. Just don't get involved in it. In fact, everything you end up getting involved in, any kind of doing you find yourself doing, it's actually an aid in letting go. It kind of reveals to you, oh, okay, I'm doing. All right, let me fall back. So the first is don't recall. Completely let go of what has passed. Of course, thoughts about the past, memories might come up for you. Of course, they will. We don't want to suppress them, but we also don't want to indulge them. So we kind of fall into that line between suppression and indulgence. And we just let it do what it does. Whatever memories happen. So We don't want to compare this moment to any moment that's already passed. And even those moments of memories that might come up, they are made of the material of the present moment. This isn't something you have to struggle to see. And we don't imagine. We let go of what may come. We let go of any anticipation, again, for any need for there to be a future. Any need for this moment to lead to something else. That's the real trick here. Not asking anything of the present moment. Again, awareness doesn't really have a destination. It doesn't have an agenda. That doing self, and it's fine that it's there. It helps us quite a bit. That has an agenda. Awareness does not. We can let go of anticipation. We can let go of the sense that this needs to lead somewhere. We can even do from that place. We can do what needs to be done with less striving, less dependence upon the future, the outcome, whatever we're doing. That can be very liberating. So don't imagine. Of course, thoughts of the future may come, populate the mind. That's fine. Same rule. You don't suppress them, you don't indulge them. And when we don't tamper with them, they just disappear on their own. They self-liberate. Over time, we can develop a kind of confidence that things just arise and pass on their own, so we can do less and less. And we don't think. We let go of what's happening even right now. Of course, thoughts may populate the mind. Same rule. We don't suppress them, we don't indulge them. We don't offer them any kindling. We don't feed that fire of thought. It just burns out on its own. Again, there can be a confidence that builds up over time. So let go more and more. Thoughts self-liberate, emotions self-liberate. We can just hang back. We can rest. At this point, sometimes make it a little confusing. Sometimes we may feel like we're thinking ourselves, doing self is thinking. Again, if you step back, if you drop that intention and it doesn't drop, if it still feels like you're doing it, well, you're not. That sense of self is arising spontaneously. It's no longer a voluntary action. So this dichotomy of doing and being can start to fuse a bit, start to become a little bit less clear. While this is all happening, we don't examine. Don't try to figure anything out. Such a nice break to take, always trying to figure things out. So don't have to mine this present moment for any kind of meaning, or any kind of meaning beyond whatever is arising right now. Really don't have to. So letting go of any narratives we have, even narratives we have about not examining. Sometimes the thought can come up, I'm not examining right now. What a great job. Let go of that as well. Don't give the mind any company. As Papaji says, whatever is following the thought is actually also a thought. So just let those thoughts subside. Let them dissolve into awareness, into being, whatever you'd like to call it. Just let it fade and disappear. The same with any frustration that might be coming up around this practice. Just let it burn out of its own energy. So we don't examine. We also don't control. Let go of any sense that you need to make anything happen. Go the sense that anything special has to take place. You can just rest and not get involved with whatever is happening. Everything is okay. We're not comparing this moment to the past. We're not comparing this moment to the future. It is just what it is. No problem to solve. No need for this to be any different. You can really, really rest into that. It's profoundly liberating. But it doesn't have to be special. It doesn't have to be special in the way that any kind of fireworks happen. It can just be a nice, quantumous rest. Resting into what's there, what's present when we're not trying to make anything happen. This is the kind of trust fall into being. We can let go of that doing self, that manufacturing self that wants to fabricate things. We let go of that more and more. there is still something present. So let go into that as best you can. And on to the last word of advice. And if there's any one of these I would love for you to take away from all six, by all means, rest. Rest, relax. Don't even meditate. We've all had very long lives. Plenty has gone wrong for all of us, some more than others. But there's been plenty of suffering. You all deserve a rest. So please, as a favor to me, rest as best you can, relax as best you can. Again, don't meditate, just relax. Not focusing on anything special, really resting into that beginning pointer. What would this moment be if there were no problem to solve? And that's something you can carry with you outside of this practice as well. So rest like you just worked a full day. There's nothing else to do, and you really deserve to just relax. We're going to do this for another minute or two. So really, really try to enjoy this. Well, don't try to enjoy it, but relax. So once more, we don't recall, let go of the past, we don't imagine, we don't project into the future, we don't think, we let go of what's happening even right now. Don't examine, we don't try to find any special meaning, don't control, don't try to make anything happen, and we relax. So transitioning out of the practice, let's start by letting just a little bit of light into the eyes. Just open the eyes about halfway. Try to keep a light touch on any kind of rest, relaxation you found in this practice. This is the kind of brackish water between practice and daily life, and you want that to eventually be kind of a seamless transition. So opening the eyes fully, coming back to the room. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope that was enjoyable. For me, the do nothing technique, one of my favorites, and it's something you really can bring into daily life. Again, it's not really a do nothing; it's a do as little as possible. And I found that that's a very attainable goal. I can go through the day doing what I have to do, things that are no fun, dishes, whatever it is, and I can really hang back while I'm doing it. I can stay uninvolved. I can stop thinking about the next thing I have to do, or even completing what I'm doing, and just be 100% resting in the present moment. And it's a real game changer. It was for me, so I hope it can be for you. Um, Thank you, everyone. There's one question. What's what's my version of radical acceptance versus equanimity? Whoa. Wow. Okay. I may want to amend this answer. Um, you know, Radical acceptance to me, there is a sense of doership to it a bit. like you're intentionally kind of opening. Um, One of the seer field practices I do is, and I got this from my friend Kevin Lacroix, who you should also check out. It's great. Um, is saying yes every time the attention lands on something, and it's a very intentional kind of acceptance, moment by moment. Whereas radical equanimity is more of a stepping back, more of an allowing. No push, no pull. So it's a little bit more like do nothing. Like I think the do nothing technique, you're kind of taking that stance of radical equanimity. Um, oh, thank you, Brooke. Brooke, thank you so much. I'll tell you all right now. I was having a technological freak out last night into this morning because I was worried I wouldn't be able to be here today. And Brooke brought me a lot of equanimity with that. So I appreciate that, Brooke. Yeah. Um, from a DBT standpoint, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I could take a stab at it, but it wouldn't be a great answer. That's not really my realm. But if I, you know what, I'm gonna be back next week, and I'm gonna ask my friend who's into DBT, and I'll give you a better answer. Cool. Thank you, Paul. The sound was dodgy. Oh no. Oh, I hope that wasn't on my side. Okay. Well, I think I went a little over, but really, thank you all for being here. This is like such a pleasure. I'll be back next week, and yeah, go spend the rest of your nights doing nothing. Thank you so much. Deepest bow to you all, Metta, all the good things. Take care. See you next week. And Andrew, if you watch this later, hey buddy, how's it going? All right, cool. Thanks everyone. Well, I don't know how to sign out, do I?